Xbox Series X is shaping up to be one heck of a console. Even if the name is a little goofy, that is becoming a very intriguing, appealing, and powerful box. And today they revealed many more specs about the console, confirming 12 teraflops, which is pretty insane. But even more importantly, they further detailed their services and got a commitment from a massive third-party game that it's going to be playing nicely with smart delivery. What's going on, everybody? It's GhostRobo. What is smart delivery, you say? Well, it's something that is completely changing the game for this new generation of consoles, something that has not been a part of the strategy before, and I find it fascinating, slightly concerning, but mostly fascinating, and I'm so curious to see if Sony and PlayStation are going to copy smart delivery. But before we get there, I think this is just fun. Take a look at these screenshots. Look how far we've come. Sometimes I think it's hard to realize how fast technology is moving because you're like, okay, the iPhone 11 is really no different than the iPhone X, but check this out. First off, the Xbox Series X is the equivalent to about 1,276 GameCubes duct taped together. Brilliant and beautiful. To think that I remember going and getting the GameCube on launch day. I'm going to go get the Xbox Series X on launch day, and my console here in 2020, come November or October, whenever it drops, is going to be the equivalent of 1,200 GameCubes. That's impressive. But this one might even be more mind-blowing. It was to me. The Xbox Series X is a 12 teraflop console released in 2020, and we expect it to cost about $500, maybe $550. The IBM ASCII White, a supercomputer that took up an entire giant room in 2001, was 12.3 teraflops and cost $110 million to build. $110 million! And now we're getting all of that condensed into a tiny little tower for $500. That is impressive. Whether it's because of aliens, whether it's because of genius minds, or whether it's because we live in a simulation, I do not have an answer for you. But it blows my mind away when you see technology from this lens. We know it's passing and progressing fast, like back in my day, right? Like we know it's moving quick, but I don't think you really appreciate it until you see something like this. 1,200 GameCubes, a supercomputer that took up a whole room and cost $110 million. It's absurd. And now Microsoft is putting that into a box. But what's something special this box is going to do that no Microsoft box has done before? Smart delivery. So Phil Spencer is calling their system of making sure your games work on any version of the console, including the old console, smart delivery. So if you buy an Xbox game, and they're guaranteeing their first-party titles will take advantage of this. So you're talking your Halo Infinites, your Gears, your Forzas, things of that sort. If you buy an Xbox game, it's going to work on any version of the console. So Series X, the Lockhart version that's going to be cheaper whenever that's revealed, your old Xbox One, your old Xbox One S, your oldish Xbox One X, your game will play on all of those. And smart delivery is kind of a nice name and a fancy way of putting like total compatibility into a buzzword, right? But here's where the buzzword becomes interesting, because smart delivery isn't just something that works backwards, it works forward as well. And that was revealed today by Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt Red, who said they are going to be the first game outside of Microsoft's first-party lineup to take advantage of smart delivery. They announced that if you buy Cyberpunk this September, when it's obviously releasing on the current-gen consoles, that you will get a free upgrade to play Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox Series X. You want to repurchase the game as we've suspected and worried, you will just for free get compatibility. Now, there's no confirmation exactly what this is going to look like or what it's going to be. Cyberpunk said, gamers should never be forced to purchase the same game twice or pay for upgrades. Owners of Cyberpunk for Xbox One will receive the Xbox Series X upgrade for free. So that tells me it's going to be enhanced. It's not going to just be, hey, backwards compatibility, forwards compatibility. It's going to be enhanced, which is nice, because we did think, and I still think some companies will do this, where you have to buy the version twice or buy an upgrade. Now, the big question is, how will Sony handle this? Because I think a lot of people have expected them to sell double editions of Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, and maybe more, where the game releases on PS4 this year and then gets a PS5 upgrade either at launch or shortly after in order to pimp out the lineup for the new console, and people who just got a PS5 but maybe don't have a PS4, give them the option to play the game. Will Sony participate in a similar freebie upgrade program? I would like to think they would. Microsoft is kind of forcing their hand in a way. It'll be a very bad PR move if Sony comes out and says, yes, if you would like to play Last of Us 2 on PS5, it costs $20, or worse yet, it costs $60 because you have to buy the whole darn game. So I personally expect them to come out with a similar type of service. Then what happens with the third parties, I think they will react independently. So CD Projekt seems to be playing, really nice, and they're very consumer friendly. They're going to give you the free upgrade. I almost guarantee you that some companies are going to either charge for the upgrade or sell a separate edition or sell a deluxe edition or something of the sort. Where there's money to be made, somebody will get greedy. Somebody will want to take advantage of it. And smart delivery isn't something that they can guarantee will work across the entire platform, just across their games and studios that want to partner with them in this way. But how do you guys feel about smart delivery, and does it enhance or increase your desire to purchase an Xbox Series X in any way? If we assume that Sony goes along the similar plan, similar path, does it enhance your desire to buy a next-gen console in general? If Sony were not to do smart delivery, well, I think that would be a huge gain for Xbox, and something that's very appealing that, hey, any of the games that you buy, if you want to play them in an upgraded fashion, will work on your new console for free and will be enhanced. Now, the sort of cynical devil on my shoulder side of this is, how much does it really matter to replay a game? For some of us, you who don't get Cyberpunk at launch, it'll be great because then you can play Cyberpunk with some upgraded visuals and some upgraded performance on the new console. But say you are a hardcore gamer that's going to play Cyberpunk in September no matter what, how important is it that the game is compatible with Series X? I guess if you're someone who likes replaying games, maybe it's pretty important. If you're someone like me who doesn't really replay games, maybe it's not important at all. I'm going to be getting the consoles. I currently have both current gen consoles, and therefore, while smart delivery sounds very appealing, and I applaud it, and I'm all for it, I don't think it's going to impact me that much. In fact, it may have a small negative effect, which is the more that smart delivery becomes a thing, I think that certain games are going to be held back. I think it's inevitable. If your game needs to work forwards and backwards, it has to account for everything. Now, some games will probably be next gen only, but remember, Microsoft, because of smart delivery and because of their commitment to their ecosystem and Game Pass, are saying that for the first year or two, every first-party game will work on all their consoles. So there's no way that Halo Infinite can be the best Halo Infinite it could be if it is forced to work on the original Xbox One that released 7 years ago. It's just you can't tell me that you're getting the best version of Halo Infinite. And that's okay. I still think the game has a good shot at being great, and I still think it'll look awesome on Xbox Series X. But there is that part of me that feels like, man, maybe next gen should just be next gen and not worry about last gen. But we're clearly seeing a changing industry. We're clearly seeing a changing focus. No matter if you like it or I like it, this is what we're getting. Smart delivery, consoles and games that work across the family, a blurring of the lines between what generation we're in, and an emphasis on subscription and phone-like upgrades where, hey, all of your apps work on the new phone. It's not like you wipe your iPhone every time you get a new phone. You upgrade and iterate year after year, every 2 years for some people, every 3 years, and all your stuff works. And that's the mentality that Microsoft would like to bring to Xbox, and I think it's a very bold and cool mentality. I think it'll be probably less impressive if Sony does the same, but it'll also be much scarier. If Sony doesn't do this, if Sony says, hey, we're going to focus mostly on next gen and pushing, then Microsoft is flipping a coin. But I do expect Sony to follow suit. I think they're eventually going to introduce either a new Game Pass type program or really push PS Now much more than they did this current generation. I think they will have a smart delivery type system under a different name. I hope that they will. It does save money if you want to play the games twice, but it does cause maybe on the looking backwards end some difficulty because, when they come out with a new Forza, it's going to need to run on Xbox One and Series X. So it's going to have to run on a console 7 years old and a console 7 years forward. That seems dicey to me. Also, the more games that we're able to push from this library and from this generation into next gen, the less need there is for tons of innovative instant hits on next gen, because you will have a crossover, carryover, library and arsenal of great games from this year, last year, 5 years ago. That's a good thing, because then your box, you can sell off your PS4, sell off your Xbox One, and your new box is going to play it all. I'm all for backwards compatibility, but when we're talking about forwards pushing, like, hey, Last of Us 2 is also on PS5, and Cyberpunk is also on Xbox Series X, it gets a little like, okay, I just spent $500 and this is more powerful, but where are the new games? So I hope they're able to balance this. Those are my concerns. Those are my thoughts. I want to hear from you guys. How do you feel about smart delivery? Is this the best thing to happen to gaming? Is it a non-factor for you because you're just going to play Cyberpunk for 100 hours on Xbox One and then be ready for something new on Series X? Or does it not appeal to you because you're not going to play it twice and you just wish they would focus solely on making these next-gen consoles shine and having games that take advantage fully of the capabilities so we can really see what 12 teraflops can do? If it is 1,200 GameCubes tapped together, if it is a $110 million computer, wouldn't you like to see what kind of games that could create? And I'm sure some companies will give us a chance. In fact, I think Sony themselves are going to have some exclusives that they make first-party-wise that will not be backwards compatible. I think that's almost inevitable. And I'm sure some third parties will take advantage as well. But wouldn't you like to see what those supercomputers, now in a tiny tower or a tiny V-shaped box like PS5, can do? I sure would. So hopefully we get those sparingly or eventually. Eventually I want everything to work, but this smart delivery, it's going to change the game one way or another. Give me your take in the comments down below. Hit that like button if you're excited for next gen. Thanks so much for all your support. Make sure to subscribe if you forgot about me. Don't forget about me. I love you guys a lot. Have a great day. Be good to yourself and others out there. Until next time, drink some hot chocolate, and we will see you all alive.